Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, beautiful people. I am Dr. Shenita Connolly as of Saturday, December 3rd, 2022. Had to get that date right. I should never forget that. The date that changed my life. With that being said, thank you for joining me this evening. I am elated, delighted that you will either watch it live or watch it in the replay. So thank you for taking the time to watch this show tonight. So this show is going to be a little different than usual. I have a special guest who is near and dear to my heart, really close. We walked this journey on many levels in the business realm together. I'm excited to have him because he brings a fireball of energy, synergy, information, experience. And so I'm excited to bring him in this evening to share in a conversation that's just going to be candid. And he has an event that's coming up on Sunday that I have the opportunity and the pleasure and the privilege to speak at. That's an all men's event. And so he's going to come in and share that information and invite you all to, especially the men, to be a part of that because it's men only. They're going to be in the locker room having men talk. So with that being said, as always, please like and share the broadcast. Please like and share it. Next Thursday, I am going to have, it's going to be a Christmas, a holiday show, and we're just going to have some fun. And then for the last 2 weeks of December, we're going to take a break and enjoy family and the holidays and come back in the new year with a different format. It will be twice a month, every other Thursday, twice a month versus every Thursday. So please be on the lookout for that. Without further delay, I'm going to invite my special guest in, Mr. Cornell McBride, to join me for a conversation this evening because it's so important for us to think about life on all levels. Tonight's topic is Go Hard Fitness because that's the name of the event that he's hosting on Sunday. But we're actually going to take some time and kind of talk about all things life related, particularly finishing the year strong financially, making sure that our affairs are in order, and just some nuggets. And hopefully people will walk away with these nuggets that they will be able to apply them and get great results as a result of that. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Cornell McBride. Good evening, Cornell.
Hey, good evening, my sister. Here we are again. How are you this evening?
I am well. How about you?
I'm a little tired, but talking to you always gets my energy up. So I'm excited about this conversation tonight.
Yes.
I'm really excited.
Well, I'm glad to have you. And as I mentioned to them, we've had some years of experience on this journey together. And I'm thankful to God that, we respect each other mutually and try to support each other as best we can when we can. Absolutely. And so I'm excited to have the conversation, not only about Go Hard Fitness event on Sunday, but just some important nuggets about life.
Yes. That like you said earlier, the locker room talk. And actually, the event is just so everybody knows, the event is at Go Hard Fitness. The event is on THRVE.
Wow. Yeah.
So the way the flyer is designed, because it says Go Hard Fitness in the middle really big, but it is at my friend Andre Short. I've known him for, probably 22 years. He's a personal trainer and health coach. It's at his gym. He opened it up on a Sunday for this event because I felt like, you and I are on this fitness journey. And we're going to talk about all things fitness, whether it's, like you said, emotional, spiritual, financial, mental, all of that combined. And I feel like being in that gym especially going in toward the beginning of the year where everybody has these goals about I want to be fit, I want to exercise. I think it's going to be a great environment, and the people that we have coming to share is about health and fitness. We're going to be, we got Toney Freeman, who's an IFBB professional bodybuilder. He's been in the industry for over 30 years. He's going to come and talk about his new program, Righteous. We've got Andre Short, who's also an entrepreneur, small business owner, owns a gym. He's also going to talk about the health and wellness in area. I've got Oscar Jester, who works with a company called LifeWave, and he's going to come in and talk about these patches that we've been using. I've got one actually on the back of my neck that helps us with stem cell replacement. And then I've got one of the best in the business. His name is Royce Richardson. Royce is part of the Society of Black Life Insurance Agents. He's going to come and talk about finance, being your own bank, $1 million baby. And then, I can't wait for you to talk because you're the only female invited.
That's going to be exciting.
Your story is so powerful. And, I've been on this journey hearing your story for the past 7 or 8 years now. But when I believe that when a man hears the impact of what you went through with your story, and they get to see how that impacted a woman when that husband's support was no longer there. I feel like that's going to be what nudges some people to say, we really got to stop procrastinating. Hey, we've been thinking about this all wrong. I never really thought about it that much. And that's what we want to do. We want to shake them up. So, on Sunday, we're going to talk about it.
Yes, it's so important. And I'm always honored to share my experience so that others won't go through what I had to endure. So being in a room with men is so exciting because I believe if my husband had been spoken to in a men's locker room conversation,
absolutely,
things might have went differently, right? And someone spoke candidly. Please make sure that you dot this I. Please make sure you cross this T.
Yes.
It could have gone differently. Now, we know that, God has a path for us. And I wouldn't be on this path had I not gone through what I went through, right? To be able to share with others. So there is always some goodness in the challenges that we go through, even though we may not want to. But there's always some goodness. So I'm excited. I grew up between 2 brothers, so I love being in the room with men.
I started laughing when you said that. I said, it sounds so funny right there. but you touched on some very, very good points. And Reggie Brown, who's on the call with us, Reggie is also going to be one of the guest speakers there. And let me say, I did this event in 2016. I was leaving church. I was going to Victory Church. I was leaving church. And I wanted to do something with the church backing it that was going to be around people, business, ministry, and fellowship. I felt like, just part of the way I say it, we're going to talk about it. Like if everybody in the church knew what other people were doing for a living, the amount of money that could come through that kingdom right there. This person works on cars. This person sells cars. This person does life insurance. This person does home health care.
Networking.
But it's so political, unfortunately, where you don't want to let this person shine because this person's with Allstate. This person's with American Family. So when they kind of gave me these parameters of how I could do it, how I couldn't do it, I said, I need to just do this a bit on my own, so that way I could control the narrative and the content that we were going to share. So when I did the event, I was leaving, and God said, call it Thrive. And since right after that, a song came on by Casting Crowns called Thrive. And in the song and the lyrics, it says, we were meant to do more than survive. We were meant to thrive.
Wow. Let me tell you something, Cornell.
Yeah.
That just hit home because After Winston passed away in 2015 and I got myself together in 2016, God said to me, you must be obedient. And when you are, you're going to not only survive, but thrive.
So you get that in 2016. I do my first event in May of 2016.
Isn't that something?
Let's thrive. Wow. And we've been connected pretty much since 2015 or 16.
Yep.
Wow,
Yep.
that's crazy.
Yes.
That's divine.
It is amazing. And so we want people to thrive. You know, and if you remember, Cornell, when I did my book signing back in 2017, and I said I wanted to have an unusual book signing, not where I just sold books and signed them, right? And so God said it has to be purposeful. Purposeful meant bring out individuals to be vendors.
Yep.
Bring out a couple of life insurance agents.
Yep.
Bring out a couple of financial advisors, bring out some medical people, bring out someone from the
funeral
bank.
services,
bring out from the
funeral homes.
Because here's the deal, Cornell, in life, I may not be a good fit for Susie, but you might.
Absolutely.
So if we only have one person versus a variety of people for people to choose from, it limits them. And sometimes no one gets any business. So when you open it up, and I remember just a little side note, when I first held my first summer camp expo at the Merle Manders Conference Center in 2004, I partnered with the Merle Manders Conference Center. We held the first Southside Summer Camp Expo. We had camps that were local. We had camps that were regional. We had camps that were national. We had camps that were international who came out because I had seen it done at Westminster on the north side of town. And I said, well, why can't we do that over here? Well, I was holding that was the second year for my summer camp. And someone said to me, why would you do that when you have a summer camp and that's competition? I said, what you don't realize is my program is not for everyone.
Absolutely.
There's going to be a parent who's looking for something different than what I'm offering. So I wasn't intimidated because this camp came that was regional. This camp came that was national. This camp came that was international, because I understand what I offer may not be what every parent needs.
Amen.
We have to be willing to be open and not think that we are the only one when it comes to whatever services.
Right. The only game in town.
That's why I'm comfortable in who I am, because I realize whoever I'm for is going to be there. Whoever you're for is going to be there.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. And it's funny you mentioned that, because we've been doing this detox challenge together. You were already on a weight loss journey. Someone that introduced me to it. We're gonna talk a little deeper about that. She turned me on to the tea. I used the tea for a month before I asked her if I could get in the business. But and I'm gonna say it, my friend Andre, who's Jim, he's in Herbalife. I'm in a different company that's health and nutrition, and Toney's in another company. So my thing is, look, all we're gonna do is expose it, because what Toney may touch on about what he's using may be different than what Andre touches on. It may be different than what I touch on, because I'm not even talking about it. But that wasn't going to stop me from inviting two people that work in the same industry to talk at the event, because, like you said, everybody may not want to do business with me. Everybody may not want to do business with Dre or with Toney, or maybe somebody didn't like Herbalife back in the day. They want to try something different. Maybe they hear from Toney, they see his resume, and they're like, yo, whatever he got, I'm gonna try it, because he's got 30 years of that knowledge. But if we could, it's almost like when people go to trade shows. You can't go to a trade show and be worried about the competition when what you should be looking at is how many people are going to be exposed to your product or service to the trade show.
And what are you going to do to draw them to your table? What are you going to say? What are you going to what do you look like? What does your marketing look like? And you just concentrate on what you have to offer of value, and hopefully somebody sees the value and partakes in it.
Absolutely. And then even with Royce Richardson. So, I've been in a life insurance for 7 years. Royce has been in it for 15, 16, a matter of fact, almost 20 years. But his level of expertise when it comes to this industry, he's done it full time for 20 years. He's on an agency for 11 years. So when I asked him to come invite and to speak, I wasn't worried about, if he ends up signing somebody up for a life insurance policy that I don't. Shoot, people knew me as a photographer, the guy that was dancing in the club. Everybody ain't looking for the guy that was throwing the parties, throwing the poker parties to be signing them up for life insurance.
Right.
So being able to, and this again comes from, the 4 pillars of what THRVE stands for. It's people, business, ministry, and fellowship. We're supposed to be able to share.
Diversity.
We're supposed to be able to pass business on to other people, edify other brothers, support other businesses. So, I'm super excited about Sunday. When I did the first event, it was in 2016. So I was 6 years younger. I was 44. I had I had a son then. I'd been married for 2 years, coming out of working and stuff in the club. So I was a different person then. Now, 8 years later, your son is 7. Your oldest is about to turn 22. You're divorced now. You're about to turn 51. Pardon the way I say it, but shit's different now.
Right, it is.
So the first event was men, and you could bring your kids, and we did it at Top Golf. This one, I said no kids, 18 and up, preferably 21 and up, because we want to talk about some real men,
real stuff,
some topics that men, don't want to talk about with certain men because they worried about who may know their wife, or who may know their brother, or who knows their pastor. This conversation, like you said, locker room, it's almost like if everybody comes in, we lock the doors, pull the blinds down, and told everybody, whatever we say in here
stays in there. And not only does it stay in there, but we take what is applicable to us and we do something with it, right?
Yes.
So if it hits home, whether it's meeting with the life insurance agent to make sure that you have adequate life insurance to cover your family, whether it's to talk with the fitness guy to see if what he offers, would be good for you, or your mental state, whatever it is that you are going to utilize the information for your good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that people will really walk away with substance.
Yeah, I think I'm not going to say I think. I know there are going to be some breakthroughs. It's going to be a point where you need to leave.
and I can do that. I can get in and do what I need to do, Reginald, and get out of there. I'm good with that because I want you guys to be able to be what? Butt naked, transparent.
Yeah, transparent.
With each other, right?
She said butt naked and then transparent.
Butt naked.
Like some of those guys are going to be looking at Shenita. They're going to be looking at you trying to figure out if you got a wedding ring on your hand. It's going to be some single men in there. Yo, I need to holler at her. She cute.
Yes.
She's a doctor too. She cute.
That is too funny right there. But yes, naked and not ashamed. Yes.
Reggie says that. He says that all the time.
Yes.
One of the things that's going to be really powerful about Reggie. Reggie's one of my closest friends. I'm gonna say he's like my spiritual advisor. Because when I get close to the cliff, he walks me back. But that's Reggie, awesome. Yeah, Reggie's had a heart attack and 2, almost 3 strokes in the past 5 years. And when he shares how his life changed and how it's been altered and what it did to him emotionally, mentally, as a man, What did it do? Needing help from other people, just not being 100%.
And his wife being a caretaker.
Yeah, right. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about. His wife had to be in a position, well, she's almost forced into a position where she has to be the caretaker.
Yep.
And God's blessed him because he has a man that there's one thing he always talks to me about working on is tithing. And I can tell you that I've seen it in his life, how God's taking care of him and looked out for him, because you can't look at him and tell what he's going through.
They look amazing.
But when he shares, and this again is when these guys, we walk around here feeling like we're invincible. It's like there's not a, you don't walk around with a death date on your forehead. Says I got 3 months left. I need to go ahead and get this stuff together. Life doesn't happen like that. And right now, you got people, outside of the obvious, the heart attacks, the cancers, the strokes. You got people walking into a Kroger, the place in Buffalo, New York, a church. Like there's just madness right now.
Yes, everywhere.
And I tell people that's not. I'm not telling you that could happen to scare you. I'm telling you,
we have to be aware.
Going to schools and kill people.
That's right.
And
we have to be aware, and tomorrow or the next moment is not promised. And if I could say that 1,000 times to 1,000,000 people, I would, until they really understood what I'm saying. So when I say don't put off for tomorrow what you can do today, that means sit down and handle your business, whether it's financial, fitness, spiritual, mental, right?
Yep.
Whatever that area is. I was speaking with a friend this morning. He's an educator. And we were talking about diet, right? And we know that the most important part of a healthy lifestyle is our diet. We also, intelligent people, also understand if we've lived a reckless life of eating any and everything and drinking any of everything that we desire, there are going to be consequences.
Absolutely.
Okay. And so we were having this conversation, and a lot of people can't have this conversation because for some reason they may be on a different spectrum. So for instance, we've lived a life where we have eaten any and everything that we desire, understanding the consequences. We've drank everything that we wanted, right? And so we get ill. And we say it's the Lord's will. No, that's not his will. His will was different. His will was different, but we chose
consequence.
We chose to go this route. I'm guilty. You guilty. Many of us are guilty, right? Of not being very conscious about what we do or what we eat, what we drink, and the impact that it has on our body, our temple. So when our temple starts breaking down at a certain part or point in our life, it is because of choices that we have made, and we have to accept the consequences of those. I'm not saying that, to be ugly, but I'm saying we have to be really aware. Now, can that change? Can he miraculously change the dynamics? Yes. But what I'm saying is we also have to be conscious that we could pass away prematurely.
Yeah.
As a result of decisions we've made.
Yep.
And I think sometimes Christians get lost in that somewhere.
Oh, for sure.
You don't realize the scientific impact of our decisions, all of us.
The long-term compounding impact of our decision. And it's funny you say that because and we're going to talk about this on Sunday. I remember when my ex-wife, when she started gaining weight, and she was saying that she was emotional eating, it was depression and being sad and angry because we lived in the same house after we knew we were going to get divorced after like 2021, but financially we couldn't afford it. So she had a master bedroom, I had a room, Noah had a room. It was like we two roommates parenting a child, right? And I didn't understand it until after I got divorced, when this girl said she liked me. I went I remember taking a screenshot and sending it to Reggie because I was so excited. It had been so long that I felt that somebody told me they liked me. Because when you're going through a divorce on so many levels, it makes you feel like you did something wrong. Nobody cheated on each other. We just kind of grew apart, right? And then I wasn't conscious of really what I was eating, what I was doing, none of that. But when this other girl said she liked me, I got out of the shower and I looked at myself with my shirt off and my boxers on, and I said, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. And see, and that's when I put that picture. I had Noah take a picture of me and I put it online and I said, I'll never be like this again. And my guy friends was like, Cornell, you're braver than I am. There ain't no way in the world I would have put that picture up with my stomach out like that.
Right.
I said, well, here's why I did it. Because I could exaggerate how much money I've made. I could exaggerate almost where I lived at. I could exaggerate this. You can exaggerate that. But when people look at how you look here, and then that 4 weeks after detoxing, and then the next 4 weeks, and then they look at here, that was tangible. People could look at that. Mm-hmm. And what I realized was, I said, man, it took somebody to say that they liked me, that I thought was attractive. You know, my wife was attractive as well, but what it told me was I felt so bad about myself.
You needed somebody to validate you.
I needed somebody else's validation. They didn't even stay around long. But what I learned was what I'm capable of doing. When you feel that attention or that love for somebody, but then at the same time, the negative effect when you don't feel it. I'm sitting in a room, I'm eating poorly, I'm not exercising, I'm not going to the gym, I'm not hanging out with my friends. I'm just sitting in the office on a computer just like this, just busy work. Mm-hmm. And that's something, again, we're going to talk about. So what I ended up doing, I went and I started taking the tea to some of my friends, right, Shenita? And I said, look, when I get there, we got to take a picture of you with your shirt off. Oh, Shenita, you should have saw these men's cringe. Cornell, don't put this picture on Facebook, Cornell. Cornell, whatever you do, don't do this. And I said, now, here's what I want you to think about. When you got your clothes on and you jump in your Rover, you in your mind, you think you're fine. You think you fly like you were 20 years ago at 6'2" and 180 pounds.
Right.
But when you get out of the shower and you got breasts and you're a guy and your stomach looks like this, I said, I want you to ask yourself, do you really think that's attractive to a woman? Do you really think that's attractive to your wife? I don't care if you've been around married 10 years, 20 years, 5 years. Do you think that's attractive? And I know for a fact that you don't look at yourself in the mirror. And if you're not 100% in love with what you see and you know you're healthy and you're in shape, you protect your temple, you don't feel good about yourself.
Yes.
You'll camouflage it like the BBBW girls, and I'm wearing all this tight stuff.
Right.
That fake BS. I know doggone well, unless you are mentally challenged, right? There's no way you look in the mirror
and you are totally okay with.
No way.
Right.
Because you can't even function.
Many times you can't. Many people can't. Right. The ability to walk and to do certain things limited.
Yep. Toney Freeman. We're going to do this exercise on Sunday. Toney told me, we were at lunch, and he said, Cornell, imagine this. He said, a 5-pound weight for you wouldn't be a lot of weight, right? Mm-hmm. 5 pounds in the right arm, 5 pounds in the left arm. And we're sitting there having this talk at lunch. And he said, but Cornell, if you had to walk around all day with that 5 pounds in each arm, how heavy do you think that 5 pounds would be? He said, now that's only 10 pounds. That there's 60% of Americans are overweight. You're talking about 20 pounds or more. He said, what do you think 20 pounds, walking around with 20 pounds on your stomach, what do you think it's doing to your back, to your spine,
to your heart,
knees, to your heart,
kidney, to the other organs,
to your liver? And I was like, and that's why, again, I said, this event on Sunday has to be about our mental health.
Real talk. And real talk without considering someone's feelings.
Oh yeah, Drake tore me up when I came to the gym. He said, Cornell, look at you. Look at your stomach. He said, yeah, you done lost a little weight with that little tea you doing, that little tea. He said, yeah, that'll help clean your system out, but you need to get in the gym. You need to burn fat. You need to work out. You need to build muscle. And see, that's
and it starts in the
what he needed.
Meaning what we eat, changing our lifestyle, eating better, and like you said, burning the fat, moving the body, drinking the water.
Yeah, he said, stop thinking about diet. That's why when I talk about the tea, I say detox,
lifestyle change.
Plans. He said, this is not about diet. This is about a lifestyle.
Yes.
And
let me tell you something. Let's go back to talking about, you said Reginald when he had his challenges, and I'm gonna go back to Winston because I can talk about that one because I lived it. But when you're with someone who he had a heart condition before we became friends that I was aware of, but 6 months after we got married, he went into heart and kidney failure, which meant I became a caregiver. And I remember him being down about that, depressed about that, because he did not want his wife to be taking care of him at that stage of his life because he was still fairly young.
How young was he, Shenita?
When 6 months after, when he passed away, he was 61, about to be 62. So prior to that, we're talking 59, 58, something like that. So I remember when he went into that phase, of feeling bad that now I'm caring for him. Let me tell you the other part that was hard for him. The sexual part that he wasn't able to, at that moment, maintain. And see, a lot of times,
we gotta go in.
Don't talk about that.
We gotta go in.
So I had to help him through that period, meaning I had to help him still feel like he was the man, because he was. I had to still make sure he knew that I still loved him. I had to still make sure that he knew that I wasn't leaving. I had to still make sure that he knew that I wasn't going to cheat, right? And we were able to work through that period of time because he was able to vocalize his feelings. We could talk about anything. That was the beauty of our relationship, because we could talk about anything. And I was able to help him be okay until he was okay to return to his regular physical, sexual activity with his wife that he loved. Okay. And so people don't like to talk about this part of it.
Especially men, because they get so used to being dogged out about it.
Yep. And
you don't ever hear about a woman who couldn't perform. Because you
hear about it, but it's not often. If they have cancer, they may not feel like it, because on the flip side, Winston's previous wife who passed away had liver cancer. And I remember when we became friends, I remember asking him, did you ever cheat on your wife when she was ill? And he said, I never cheated, but I watched porn to get me through. We could talk about, let me just say this. I'm a realist.
Girl, this thing on Sunday.
If they don't know me, they don't really know me, right? I'm a realist. And so I am not afraid to talk about the truth. And so when you're able to be real, authentic, nothing really bothers you, right? And so he said, nope, I didn't cheat with another woman, but I did watch porn. Some people feel that is
Cheating.
still a form of cheating.
Yeah.
But for me, on the flip side, when I lost him, I didn't think about sex. Now, men and women are different, right? And so we have to remember that men are wired different from women in a lot of
Look
cases.
at Tony. Tony said, whatever.
I'm just saying we're wired.
Yeah,
We're wired differently. And so not all, some. I'll never say all. And so, yes, when I got myself back together, yeah, I thought about it. I think about it now. But do I want to casually just kind of be frivolous about who I'm laying up with or who I'm in a physical relationship with? I'm very cautious of that. You know, have I made mistakes? Yeah. You know, can I say that? Am I wiser because of those mistakes? Yes.
Boy, you and me both.
Okay.
You and me both.
So there are lessons in all of it. It's like, that don't thrill me like that. You're gonna have to come a little bit better than that.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to come a little bit better than that piece right there.
Yeah.
That's a good whatever. Y'all straight. I love the transparency. Yes.
Yeah.
I think the only way to be is, straight up.
Yeah.
No chase.
It's funny you say that because one of the, this was when I agreed to go meet this young lady after my divorce, in the back of my mind, here's what she said to me. And it's so funny because I have friends that say, Cornell, women now, they have everything they need except for a penis. And if that's what they need, understand, they'll let you know. And I remember her saying to me, Cornell, when you meet me up here, we're going to see if you qualify. Now, as a man, first thing we think about, this didn't sound like she wanted to know what my credit score was. Didn't sound like she wanted to know if I graduated college or what my grade point average. It sounded like that, right? Oh no, we that's what this platform is for, Reggie. And what it did is it goes right back to depression, self-esteem, self-confidence. Am I enough? Was I enough before? Am I enough now? And it's almost like you regress from being a grown man to 18 or 19, like you about to have sex for the first time, because immediately that's what I took my mind to. And that's not even really what it was about. But like you said, with men and women thinking differently.
Immediately, your mind went there. Qualified to her could have meant how you handle me. Do you open the door? What's your temperament?
Stability.
There you go.
Yep.
There you go. And
that's what threw me off. It threw me off because the whole time I'm thinking one thing, and it was absolutely something else. But when you're dealing with hypertension, liver kidney failure, or liver kidney issues, as you get older, low testosterone, and then I'd only been with one woman for 9 years. So there's so much going through in general, not even before her. So now again, and then you're out of shape, your money ain't the way it is. And that's what we're going to talk about on Sunday. All of that plays in to mental health.
Yep.
All of that. If a man feels like he is not a man financially, he feels less of a man. If he feels like he is not doing something as a husband, he feels less as a husband. If he just doesn't feel like he's doing this as a father, he feels less. It's like you start at 100, and every time somebody says something to you or you don't feel like you're doing it right,
it could impact you.
You're taking points away.
Goes down.
Yep. So now, next thing you know, you failing. You at a 60. You at the old scale. And then now you're sitting here and there's self-pity and there's guilt and there's shame. How can I be, like I said, how can I be on the couch at this age? How can I not be here? Why isn't my credit at 800? Why didn't I do this? And we can't go back and things are to get us where we are now. It's like, how do we not stop thinking about that so that we can move forward? And the problem is, and we'll talk about this right now, it's going through an identity crisis.
Yep.
It's an identity crisis. We're trying to figure out how we can be in shape like we were when we were 22. We can have the stamina and the wherewithal like 25. We could be making the money we were at 35, and then we got this at 45, and then you realize at 50 you ain't got none of that.
None of it.
Now you're comparing yourself to an older version of you, and it's and
you know, the decisions, one thing I've learned is the decisions we make will determine where we are as we age. And so it is imperative that we make good decisions. We may not make every decision the best decision, but if we've made one decision and we learn from that, the next time we make a decision, we need to think about that prior decision and how it went left if it did, right? And then we have to make sure as we get older, we're setting ourselves up so that we're in better positions, not worse positions. And so I oftentimes think about that. If we hook up with the wrong people, I hooked up with the wrong person when I got married the first time. I was disobedient to my parents, and I tell people this often. I was disobedient, which took me down a path of least desired, right? And so there are always going to be consequences when we're disobedient.
Always.
In
any part of life.
Any area of your life. Any area. So Cornell, reintroduce yourself. My friend Robin would like for you to reintroduce yourself.
Hey, my bride. I am Shenita's little brother. I'm a life business in Atlanta. Let's see here. Been here a while, been doing this show with Anita for about as long as she's been doing it. We've been collaborating, almost 6 or 7 years. We've been joining at the hip, supporting each other's events. So I'm always excited about being on this. But this, I'm gonna tell you, Shenita, this one right here, it had to be just me and you on this first one.
Yes.
Because Freddie was like, whoa, y'all need another platform. No, this is the platform. This is the platform. And that's why, I'm learning things about your ex-husband and your relationship that I've never heard before. That's about, when I'm trying, you've got all this anxiety about how you're going to physically perform for this new person. I'm sure everybody is nervous for the first time because you don't know what they expect, what they're used to. You're worried about what they thinking you're gonna do, and vice versa. And I have the high blood pressure. I had a little testosterone, and that first encounter, it was God saying, "You don't need to be doing this,
right?
Because this ain't gonna work." And it did not work. It didn't work. and I'm gonna tell you,
but I just think communication, timing, all of those things are important.
Yeah, like you said, what you did with your husband, how you were able to comfort him and because that's what it was. I couldn't figure out what it was. And I started, when she went to sleep, I started Googling because nothing happened. I started Googling. And I was like, what causes this? And they were like, hypertension, this medication. I was like, that's me.
Yeah. And that's why I said we have to be very careful about what we do when we're young, the lifestyle that we have, because it will impact us as we get older.
Yeah.
And we got to be able to deal with the consequences of our choices. Period. All of
We
us.
take it more personal when we're older.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, girl, I'll just go get somebody else. Nah, bro, you 50. You ain't really ain't trying to be out there like that. And
That's
that's
right.
why this meeting on Sunday, I realized, I said, if that happens to me, I said, and I'm willing to talk about it, right? I said, I wonder how many men are going through this. And then I all of a sudden, every commercial on television is about Viagra.
Right.
Facebook ad was, I was like, how is
Yep.
blue pill, orange pill, green pill? I'm like, y'all listening to me talking on this guy's own computer. But I realized how many men, and women go through different things too, how many men that I know are overweight, out of shape. I know the wives are maybe out of shape. So I know when I look at me and I listen to Trish, how she felt about herself, I'm like, dude, this is just natural. But if you don't talk about it and you don't put a force, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna change my diet. I'm gonna make a lifestyle change. Hey, why don't we do this together? Hey, why don't we? What if I bring pizza in the house? You gonna eat it because it's here? And I was guilty of that.
Right.
So if I brought salad in here with some salmon, then we can both eat that.
Yep.
And that's where that nurturing and that love comes in.
Let's talk about how we can sustain our health for the long run.
Yeah.
What things do we need to eat? What things do we need to stay away from? Let's treat ourselves occasionally and not let that be the norm, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's called family meeting. Can we meet? Can we talk about it for this family, for this household? You know, Reginald, are you serious? We are not in this sexual vortex by ourselves. No, we're not. Reginald, expound on what you're saying.
Yes, I'm curious what vortex means.
Yeah. So
save it for Sunday.
Yes. I just think that the conversations need to be had. People need to be real. Like you said, if you're meeting somebody for the first time, you have to talk about the health issues, your concerns. And you got to make sure if you're going to be talking to somebody, that you're talking to somebody that's going to be around for a minute. Yeah, we do want that just as much as you guys do. We do. And it's healthy for us in more ways than one. Right? We know that there's benefits
absolutely
to a healthy sex life. There's benefits to it.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, for more reasons than one, not just the pleasure, but there are physical health benefits from it, for more reasons than one, as I said. So I'm hoping that the conversation that or the information I share, you share, the other people share with you all, that it will help you guys move to another level, that you will level up. You would think more consciously about what you eat. You'll think more consciously about what you do. You'll think more consciously about what you say, who you're around, right? And so I'm excited.
I am too. You know, one of the things, and I talked to Reggie about this, people have to stop caring so much about what other people say. Reggie and I will be talking, and I've done different businesses, but life insurance has been the constant for 7 years. I was never in network marketing until I got into life insurance and on that model. And I remember Reggie was saying to me one day, somebody was saying, what is Cornell into now? And what is Cornell doing this? What is Cornell? I said, Reggie, why would you care? And he was like, because you my boy. And I care if people talk about you. I said, dude, if Jesus was worried about what everybody else was saying to him, not only did he raise people up from the dead, not only did he cure people from illness, he expelled demons, people were possessed. Then he rose from the grave, and they still dogged him out. I'm gonna be okay.
We're gonna be okay.
We're gonna be okay.
Let them talk.
Yeah, let them talk. Let them talk, living that average, mediocre life.
Let
You
them talk.
know, let them have it.
I'm just gonna
And
continue to let my light shine. That's what my goal is. I'm gonna continue to let my life shine, my light shine. You continue to let your light shine. Let them have their way.
Absolutely.
It does not even bother me anymore. It
Yeah.
used to bother me, but not anymore.
And that's where I'm at. And sometimes I think you know, and I try to tell Reggie, I'm like, dude, I'm not trying to be rude, but I don't want, and this is a topic we talk about when we talk about, he's on the call. So his daughter would say something like this. How are you two going to be helping and teaching people about how to make money and stuff when you don't really have it? And I said to him, Reggie, I said, well, let's look at her limited amount of experience. She's been on this planet for 23 years. She may believe that because you drive a nice Mercedes Benz and you have a nice house, you have made it. But she may not know that the car note is 2 or 3 months behind. The house is about to be foreclosed, or maybe there was some illegal activity to help you get those things. Mm-hmm. And I said that to say, we have to understand we are grown men. We have to make decisions based on our need. Reggie's need financially is not the same need that I have. Reggie has worked for the post office for 25 years. He has served in the military. He has been a sheriff. He's going to have Social Security. He's going to have money from the VA. He's going to have retirement. He's going to have a pension. I don't have all that stuff. I've been a 1099 since I was 19. So I'm not going to get Social Security. I got to go make it. So what he has to do to maintain what he wants and what I have to do is different. But the fact that we both can be in different lanes and still do it together is what I was telling him. That's what we can't worry about what other people are saying.
Nope.
You know, we can't worry about that. And there's some people think Colonel Sanders didn't make any, he made chicken and didn't open up a franchise until he was 57.
Right.
I'm almost 51. So even at 57, he only lived like 18 years.
You still have an opportunity.
Fried chicken everywhere now.
You still have an opportunity to make an impact, to leave a legacy. You still have that opportunity.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So I'm also excited about Sunday sharing with the men my perspective as a widow, what could have been done differently, me and my husband, to make sure that I didn't have the impact that I had from losing sources of income. As you talked about, Reginald had this source, that source, that source, and we had probably 6 sources of income. And so that dynamics changed. So what was in place to maintain that lifestyle or to maintain that level of income? So we had to really, really be thinking differently today than what many of us have done in the past. And so I'm hoping the men will be open, and I'm looking forward to spending time with you all.
Yeah, you know, one of the things before we go that I remember we talked about this, and I don't think a lot of people don't even know where the Is Your House in Order came from. When you told me that you were in Legal Shield and all the things that you were that you put together for Is Your House in Order, you all just never got around to it because you were like, it wasn't a money issue. You were doing great financially. It was like we was just so busy. We just felt like we always had time to do it until
June 30th.
Time to do it.
June 30th, 2015. And he laid down next to me to say good night and I love you, and collapsed. And we had plenty of time to get it done, but we kept putting it off because we were busy doing life.
And that's what, and I wrote something yesterday or Tuesday about procrastination. And that's what we really need people to understand, that when I talk to people about life insurance, I said, the cost to your family is going to outweigh the price you would have paid for the life insurance 100x. Mm-hmm. Like if you're tripping about the $50 a month, you not having it is going to cost your family hundreds of thousands of dollars. Their quality, moving out of the house, not going to college, kids got to go to work at 16 because you're thinking about the cost or the price and not
versus the benefit. Versus the benefit.
The value.
The benefit of protecting your family.
Look at Reggie. Yeah. Procrastinate. And here's the thing. And I'll end with this. I get on Reggie about this a lot because people naturally, majority of them are procrastinators. If Reggie looks at what changed, Reggie actually was a life insurance agent when he went through all these things. And, Shenita, I did your life insurance policy. If he had kept the policy on himself and had living benefits, Reggie would have never had to go back to work because he probably would have got through those strokes and heart attack probably over $1 million.
Yep.
He could absolutely, still to this day, he'd never have to go to work. And that's what when I have these conversations with people, I'm like, this is not about a sale.
It's not.
This
is bigger than that.
Yeah, like when New Year's Eve 2021, New Year's Eve 2021, I was 2020, I was at Dave & Buster's with Trisha and Noah, and you made me some food and brought over after I got home from the hospital. 12 hours later, I was being cut out of a car.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I didn't do nothing wrong. Mm-hmm. But in 12 hours later, if I had got hit by anything bigger on 285, I would be gone. I got hit by probably the smallest car on the highway at that time. And that's what I try to tell people. This is not about a sale. Mm-hmm. But as a man, for my wife have to be my caregiver for 3 weeks, when I couldn't get up and had to use the bathroom and had to have her help. Yes. That right there, your manhood. And as a man, you don't ever want your wife to have to do that.
Right.
You don't ever want to.
Right.
You do anything else. I really don't want to help with that.
Yeah.
And that's what we got to try to tell people. That comes down to our health. When you have that liver failure and kidney failure or you're on dialysis and you got somebody's going to have to be there hand and foot, can you afford for somebody to even take off of work to do that? And then if there's no money and the quality of life is bad and they still got to do that, you're talking about a different environment in the house.
Yes. Yeah, it's a lot to think about. And I'm excited that we're going to have an opportunity to speak to some men and hopefully change some lives and change some legacies. But before we close out, because we have 2 minutes, share the information if it's still open for men to join you.
Yeah. So if you guys, we're limiting it to 20 people, 20 guys outside of our speakers. The reason we're doing that is because we want this to be a really intimate and transparent conversation. I feel like the smaller, intimate group of people is going to allow it to be that much more successful. Mm-hmm. So the event is called THRVE. That's the name of every company I have is some version of THRVE. It is an all men's event. It is on this Sunday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., literally from 10 to 12. And it's at Go Hard Fitness. That's the address is 2800 DeFore Avenue Northwest. It's downstairs, Suite 240. That's 2800 DeFore Avenue Northwest. It's right off of 75 and Northside. It's an awesome gym. Owner, great friend of mine, Andre Short. He's going to be there speaking as well. It's going to be just what the fellows needed to really reset their mindset going into Christmas, going into the new year, and then to be able to say, hey, maybe I need to spend a little bit more time and energy focused on my well-being. Mm-hmm. But the discipline to eat right, the discipline to walk and exercise, the discipline to understand I only got one of these. So if I break this and ruin this, we're going to have some problems. Yes. And then really focusing on living your best life so you can thrive.
Yes.
The whole purpose is to thrive.
I love it.
It's going to be awesome, Shenita. I can't wait to see you.
Yes, I'm excited. I want to thank you, as always, for sharing the platform with me. I look forward to you and your friends on Sunday. And to you, the audience, you heard what he said, THRVE. And it's for all men from 10 to 12 on Sunday at Go Hard Fitness Center in Atlanta. The address one more time.
2800 DeFore Avenue Northwest.
And that's DEFOOR.
Correct. Yep.
Yes.
And if you have
And
any
so-
questions, you can hit me up on Facebook, Cornell McBride, or leave a message in Shenita's chat. Robin, if you have anybody that you may want to invite based on what you heard tonight, send their information to Shenita, and we'll make sure we get them a spot.
Yes. So
Come
we
here.
love you too, Reginald. Thank you, Robin, for being present this evening. Thank you all who are watching, who will watch it in the replay. We appreciate you. Have a great night. Remember,
great night,
I love
everybody.
you, but God loves you most, and he loves you best. Peace,
Amen.
love, joy today and always. Cornell, you hold tight.
Love you, sister.
Take care.
All right, goodbye. Good night, everybody.